Good morning, good morning, good morning to you one and all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Monday's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Today is Monday, the 29th day of July 2024. Welcome one and all, welcome, welcome. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Hope you are looking forward to a very productive week. Share the live, share the live. I always have to encourage you as it is scrolling across the screen there to share the live and let people know that we are on. This morning, we scheduled the program just about 7 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock on the dot, and immediately some students were in the schoolyard waiting for the commencement of this very informative and educational program. We're not going to disappoint you. We are not. I don't think we have ever disappointed you, and we don't intend to start that today. So welcome, welcome one and all. Welcome. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It is indeed a privilege to be allowed to see this new day. My colleague, Mr. Conway, is already in the studio. He's waiting for us to commence the bowling. This is bowling with pace and power. Enough short pitch, bouncers and yorkers, up there and down there. So let's go. As I've said, it's a good day to be here, and you have got to share the live. You have got to share the live. We have a record number, what I believe is a record number of students in the schoolyard, some new faces, and very shortly we are going to do the normal thing, do the roll call, which is likely to be a little lengthy today, but we're not going to forego that. We're going to do the roll call, and then we're going to go straight into the announcements, and we're going to then delve in to the information that we have to share with you. And as usual, we have so much to share with you this morning, so much to share with you. So yes, welcome, welcome. Again, we encourage you to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. The channel by the same name is there behind me, Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. You go and you subscribe, and then you hit the notification button, that little bell to the bottom right, and you are going to get the notification whenever anything is posted, including the notices for this program, which was posted yesterday. And then you go to Facebook. If you're a Facebooker, you like or you follow the page on Facebook, Speaking Out, same name, and you're going to get notifications. So welcome, welcome one and all. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. As I've said before, you're looking forward to a productive week. Well, a lot of people could not have had a wonderful weekend. Too many things. People biting, as the saying goes. People biting. But we tell you, you do nothing, you fear nothing. Do nothing, fear nothing. So those who are uncomfortable is because they know that they have done something wrong. Perhaps many things wrong. Now we're going to go into that, this continued scandal in the Guyana Police Force involving senior officers. We're going to talk about that in detail this morning. So yes, we're going to do the roll call, and let me start the roll call immediately because I've said it's going to be a little lengthy this morning. We're going to start the roll call, and then we're going to go into the announcements. I'm going to bring my colleague in. And the first person on this morning, Derek, congratulations. He came on at exactly 7 when the program was scheduled. 3 of them, Derek, it was Wenda and Carville, my squad mate. They all came on at 7 when the program was scheduled, followed by Floyd, Pauline. Then it was Vibort, and this is Vibort John. There are several Vibort son, Vibort John. Then we have Dexter. Then it was Bert, followed by Winston. Winston is from California. Welcome, California. The West Coast in the house. Then Oswald is here. He's from Linden. Welcome, Linden. The other Lindeners on the program. John. Then we have, after John, this was Anthony. Anthony says that today it is his birthday. So let me give an early birthday shout out. Happy birthday to you, Anthony Bradshaw. Anthony Bradshaw from Peters Hall on the east bank of Demerara. Welcome and happy birthday. Melissa is here. Cecile. Then we have the original black man. Original black man is here. Earl Abrams, followed by Gavin. Jakey, welcome. Jakey is from Maryland. Then Tessa from Florida. She was followed by Patricia from New Jersey. Then it was Denise from Florida. Uncle Paul is here. Then Magnell, the Barrows, the force of the Barrows. Magnell is here. Followed by Danny Ivan, old detective. That's an old detective, long-time detective then. Danny, when you see what is going on in the police force and people who call themselves investigators, you must be crying, my brother, because I know you were the top. You are a top-notch investigator. Then we have, who is that? Puran Ramdas is in the house. Welcome, Puran. Gaston Taylor, my squad mate from Canada, 9556, is in class. Courtney, New Jersey is here. Kenneth, and Kenneth is from Maryland. Denise, the secretary, is in the house. Then Lucius from Maryland as well is here. Brian, another Saul is here. This Saul is from Brooklyn. Then we have another Vibort, Lawson. He is from New York too. Wayne Kesnew is here. Then we have my another squad mate, Carlton Lewis, 9430, is in the house. Richard, and this is Richard Truss. Then it is the one and only 9407, Buxton, BX is in here. I see this time he's watching from East Orange, New York. So he has moved back to, I said New York, New Jersey, East Orange, New Jersey. He has moved back to New Jersey. Welcome back. Then we have Annette and Sean from Schenectady is in the house. Sean, I know you're growing in with Alexia taking 3-0 England all the way. Clarence is here. Mary. Then it was Peter, Claremont, Carl. I met Carl a little while back. 12352 Johnson. The man with the kiss, the man with the famous kiss. I know you're laughing, Carl. I know, you know what we're talking about. Can't let them know this. This is between me and you. Can't let them know this. Then Smitty is here. Vibart is here with us. Princess Earl is here. Princess, again, condolences. I know you buried your son recently. Condolences on behalf of myself, CC, and on behalf of the other students of Speaking Out. Then it was Joan. After Joan, we have Gordon. Gordon is from Canada. Then it was Felicia, Sharwin, Jean. Jean is here and from the west side. The west side, the best side. And we also have another west sider. Pamela is in the house. Then it was Magnell, followed by Marcia. And after Marcia, it was Aubrey, all the way from Canada, 9053. Pantless is in the house. Francis Keith from Melanie Damashana, followed by Hazel, followed Isabella, followed by, after Isabella, it was George from BV on the east coast of Demerara. David, then it was Inferno Boss, Allison. Then we have Linda in the house. Kevin, Adonis is here. Sandra, Amanda is in the schoolyard. Kay, then it is Rhonda, and this is Rhonda Chance. And Sydney, followed by Keelan, followed by Morton, Malcolm, Debbie from Providence and the East Bank of Demerara. Lynette from the UK is in the house. Gibbo, Leon Gibbons is here. Barbara, Sean, Aileen, our female umpire. Ulrich from another West Sider, from Crane. Then it is Vibart from the East Bank of Demerara. Patricia. After that, it is Karen, Sheena, Tony. Tony is here. Old TSU Ranky says, Tony, Christmas, you early, buddy. This is only July. Christmas is still in December. But Tony is here. Then after Tony is Henrik, followed by Lennox, Clive from the UK, BV man from the United Kingdom, Eric Williams, that is. Then we have Earl, Carmel, George Mars. Then it is Abira 1111, followed by Patricia Ren. Then Rayburn is here. 10,079 sample is in the house. Essie, followed by Shetred. Emerson. Then from the UK, it is Wayne and Rawl. Rawl, I see you say you where? On the Neiman West Dem. Where on the Neiman is on the Neiman and the West Dem, or I'm not sure if there is there on the Neiman on the West Coast or on the Essequibo Coast. Clarify. You're touring, my brother. Be safe. Hazel, Monica, Queenie is in the house. Anthony, Mr. G, Cranston, Morty Mamingo, former regional chairman, Region 10 is in the house. Welcome, Morty. Carlisle, Thomas, Brown, Jacko from Georgia. But he then Carriverton. He's reporting from Carriverton this morning. Enjoy and be safe. Neville is here. Ulrich, my squad mate, 9555, is in the house. He's out of Barbados now. Carl from Arizona, 9414 is here. Rohan Jawar from New York. Desiree is here with us. Umi is here. Corinne, Phil, Omar Farouk Mohammed. Later on, he says that it's his first time. And we welcome you, my brother. We welcome all those who want to hear reliable, valid information. Welcome, Omar Farouk. Doreen, my squad mate from Canada. Then it was Ronald rather. Then it is John Rogers, that is Nigel. Then we have Glendon, my old mate from Namibia. We all were there together with the United Nations, 1989, 1990, UNTAG Namibia. Then we have Nigel, another Nigel DeAnjo, Natasha. Heather is here. Then we have Scalo Monroe, says his number was 13873. Welcome, Scalo. From Queens, we have Colin, he was 11872. Then we have Court, followed by Troy. Then this is Vernon. Then Court come back to say his number was 14598. Then we have Ricardo is in the house. And after Ross, it was Marcus. Marcus was followed by Terrence. And this is Terrence Young from Canada, 9795. Followed by Kerry from Maryland. And after Kerry, it was Richard. This is Richard Small. David Lindu. Winston Arthur from the UK. Pito from Queens. Then David pop in. He was followed by Chilo, followed by Moses, followed by David, followed by Joseph rather. Ako Gonzalez is here. Maureen, I can't recall, Port Cash. This got to be a new person. Barbara, welcome, Barbara. Old police Barbara. Then we have Farina is here. And then it's Gary, another Barrow. Well, but the Barrows are represented. John Knight, Orin Bate from the UK. Sandrine is here with us. Then we have another Terrence, Terrence Brown. Then it's Verlin, Lorraine, Dwayne, and another Terrence, TK, Terrence King, 9135. Then we have Philip, Stefan, Flavio, Sydney, R. Crawford. And this R. Crawford, he say it's from Texas. Old Police 11256, R. Crawford. Then it is Dwayne and Michael Brower came in 4126 from the British Virgin Islands. And then we have Vaughn Barlett. Barlett, you late this morning. Barlett from the Hills. Then we have Vanessa O'Neill, L. Ben. That's Leslie Delan, Melville. And then the last person on YouTube was Royston. You see the large number of students in the schoolyard. The last in the schoolyard this morning was Royston. And then after that, we have Edward on Facebook. Edward's always one of the first persons on Facebook. Karen Carlton Popo is here. So too is Commissioner Cole, Elvis Jones. Then we have Umo Bray is here with us. Then we have Lynette Goodman from Barbados. Abdul from Essequibo Coast is here. Gordon, and the list goes on and on. Then we have Rudolph Jacobs. And the list goes on. The list goes on. As I indicated to you before, a lot of students in the schoolyard. So when we do the roll call, you get to see, we're not bluffing, we're showing you the people who are here very early. We schedule the program at 7, and people are in the schoolyard waiting. And when the school door is open at 11, then they march orderly in, and they take their seats to listen to all the credible and valid information, which we will continue to bring to you, notwithstanding all they do, notwithstanding all they say. We are not going to be discouraged. We are not going to be distraught. We know that the news needs to get out there, and we are going to bring it to you, despite all the threats and all the plans and all that. We are not going to be deterred. We're not going to be discouraged. We're not going to be cowed into backing off. So yes, and again, I got to thank you all for the support. Your support is so important, and that inspires us. It motivates us to come here and to do the research and to come. Now, in terms of announcements, we did announce the death of the mother of retired Assistant Commissioner Gavin Primo. Well, the information, she is being buried today. The information is that the viewing from 10 to 11, so the viewing is going on or just finished, and that's like in funeral. Then the service will be from 11 to 12 at the same place, and then she's going to be buried at St. Michael's Anglican Churchyard, Fort Wellington, West Coast, Borby. So the church service should start just about now at Lykin's Funeral Parlor, and then she travels to Fort Wellington for burial. I want to express condolences to Gavin and all the relatives and friends of his mother, who is going to be put to rest today. And then we have some birthday greetings. I announced one earlier. Anthony Bradshaw's birthday is today. Congratulations to you, my brother. Henry Slow, my cousin and namesake and neighbor, he's celebrating the birthday today. And in terms of belated birthday greetings, how can we forget the greatest cricketer to ever walk this planet, Sir Garfield Sobers? I think his birthday was yesterday, 88. Congratulations to you, Sir Gary. Another achievement. You have so many achievements in your lifetime. Sir Gary celebrated the birthday yesterday. And then we have celebrating recently Assistant Superintendent Terence Archer, footballer and a very decent, quiet guy. He celebrated the birthday recently. Cecil Semple, ex-assistant superintendent. Then we have ex-sergeant 9384, my squad mate Burgess. Navin Sankar, formerly from Customs or GRA. I think he's now at SOCU. He celebrated the birthday recently. Sean Ward, he too celebrated the birthday. And then Frankie Slow, my name, another namesake and cousin. We have Albert Marshall, former custom ranks. He celebrated recently. And Troy Cadogan, my good friend from Answer McCall. Troy celebrated yesterday, I think it was. And we also are celebrating recently KJ Singh from Cricket West Indies, my very good friend. He's a Guyanese. He works with Cricket West Indies. He has been there for a long time now. They all celebrated their birthday recently. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you who came out and extended birthday greetings to me. I celebrated another day on Saturday. And let me tell you something. I was overwhelmed with the many greetings on social media. People call, they text, and oh God, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for all those. And let me be honest with you. Let me be brutally frank. Some of the persons who reached out to me to express birthday greetings took me by surprise. And I've been frank. I've been very, very honest, as we always are. Some of the people, when I saw them sending birthday greetings on social media and so on, I was pleasantly surprised. And I thank them for taking the time to express. The day was spent quietly with my family. I relaxed at home. And then I had something to eat later in the evening. Of course, I took a few shots because one of the gifts that I got on birthday is an announcement that a certain bank accounts were frozen. I took that as a birthday gift. And birthday is a time for reflection. I reflected on my life. I reflected on what been going on since, let me say, 2021, all the trials and all the tribulations. And I recommitted myself. I recommitted myself to making sure that I come here and elsewhere and expose the corruption and incompetence. I recommitted myself to doing that in the coming years. So they are not going to daunt me. I'm not going to be daunted. I'm not going to be deterred. I'm going to come. Again, thanks for all of you for wishing me all the birthday greetings. I think, again, as I said, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of greetings. And I do appreciate that you took the time to express birthday greetings. And people are still expressing birthday greetings on social media to me. So let me bring in Miss, well, I alluded to it earlier. I want for you to be depressed, but West Indies Tech blows again in the cricket yesterday. Another 3-day game, right? Another 3-day game. And blows like first time, man. You got to learn to take your blues. You got to learn to take it. Let me bring in CC, and then we got to move on. CC, welcome, my brother. Welcome to this Monday morning's episode of Speaking Out.
Good morning. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. I want to shout out to Derek. He got another gold medal for us among equals. But we still listen about the third set of wine we have to drink. Maybe the wine is chilling there. So you gotta drink the wine before they get frozen, like how they froze, I think, some bank account, as the case may be. No, Paul, I also want to give you some advice as a big brother. And you're 69 going into 73 score and 10 as the Lord had given us. And and you were talking about cricket. Let me use some cricketing terms to you, Paul. You got to keep on batting. But make sure that you're very selective on the type of pitches you're going to play on. Make sure the pitch is well prepared for both the batsman and the bowler. And you got to be careful too, you know. You're not a Vivian Richards that you could hit across the line, or you're not a Carl Hooper that will go over the top, or a Brian Lara that you're going to be beating the field, or a Rowan Canaigo blasting for runs. You need to play with a straight bat. I need to bat in the crease. Don't mind how they're floating it up. Stay in the crease. Stay in the crease. And take it in singles. When Brian Lara scored 375, he had 99 singles. And when he scored the 400, he had 139 singles. So you can make it in singles, but avoid the sharp singles. And it's also not about batting, you know. You need to feel at fine leg, square leg, forward short leg, long leg, mid wicket, now and again in the cover. But don't feel in a deep gully. You know, keep on batting. As I say, singles will do it. You realize by now you can't hit sixes and fours at will as we used to do. So I'm saying keep on batting, but play in the crease. And most of all, protect yourself. Protect your fingers. You need your fingers to hold up the bat. You might need your fingers to store up things. So keep on batting and all the best. And I'll see you when you reach that 3 score and 10 ball.
Words of wisdom for a very experienced batter. And us younger ones must always listen to the people who have been there and done that. And to respond to some of these comments, Mentor, you want drinks. Mentor, Patrick, I ain't buy no drinks. You like freeness. You like freeness. If you want drink some from that 16.5 million. That is the place you should go, and you should ask for a drink. You used to work with them. They might accommodate you and give you a raise out of them hundreds of millions that floated around. Poor man like me, you want a drink from. Oh man, you're unreasonable. You are unreasonable, right? And you're unreasonable, Toro. You can't ask a poor pensioner, a geriatric, for to buy a drink for your man. No. You should have said to me that you're gonna fit me for my birthday. But here you are, you're begging for drinks. You like freeness too much. You like free. If you want a drink, go to the lady. What on that colored skirt that was distracting Melly Mel. That lady in a certain credit union. You have to know her. Go there and ask her for money to buy a drink. Yes, I gotta cuss you out. You know that. I gotta abuse you out. Now let me move on. Let me move on. And again, all of those thanks very much to the greetings. Now, the first thing we want to talk about, CC, I saw on Saturday, the police had a cleanup exercise at CUL. I saw a little video on the thing, right? And I note that a lot of people, well, police complaining. They went there, they were coerced into going there. Saturday morning, you have people work all week, perhaps looking forward to Saturday to go into the market, to go and wash a little clothes, or to generally relax. And a message was sent that all those who are not on actual duty must turn up to clean up the seawall. Cleaning up seawall has become a function now of the Guyana Police Force. So they had a mass operation to clean up the seawall. And I'm saying that that is not police work. And you know, it's sad that the ranks are so intimidated that they will go. In my day, nobody can call me to clean up no seawall. I ain't going no place. And I ain't going to tell them, I'm not going to be rude to say I'm not going because they're going to charge you for being disrespectful and all of that. But Dr. Wharton was always available. You go in the wicket, Dr. Wharton was always available. And let me say this, if you are going to organize mass operations, why not organize as we used to do back in the day, mass patrols? That would be within your scope and responsibility. Back in the day, we used to get mass patrols involving all the people, same people that call police ranks, some officers and so on. You go and it sometimes used to be coastwide, not only Georgetown, Barbies, Essequibo, patrols. You involve the private security. Sometimes GDF get involved. You have the private sector. They will provide vehicles and that. And you do mass patrols in certain areas, these high crime areas, so can give some comfort and confidence to the people in those communities. But no, you organizing mass cleanup, which is outside your scope of your function. But things like patrols, you don't see it fit to organize mass patrols. So I'm saying to you that what you should do is organize that. Mass patrols along the coast and other areas, that is likely to have a greater impact on the crime, the runaway crime that you have, on traffic lawlessness. But clean up the seawall. I'm sure if you got there now with the activities that they would have had yesterday, it's nasty again. So maybe you're going to do another cleanup shortly. But it is unfair to the ranks. Let's understand this clearly. It is unfair to the ranks on a Saturday when they have other things they would have planned to do their stuff on a Saturday, take care of their admin arrangement on Saturday, you bullying them. And I saw a piece of the tape where the extended squad actually berating people because they didn't come, they weren't punctual. They weren't punctual, so the extended squatter berating them for the time when they turn up. Let me hear what CC has to say on this. CC, what are your views on this cleanup exercise that you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. That is not really the police work to be involved in that cleanup of our places, the seawall. Like other people dealing with the seawall, man. They got other people dealing with the seawall, but perhaps they want to, satisfy the first lady, she has a project there, in terms of the setting up of the parks. They're looking for friends, they're looking for things. But I agree with you that we need to go back to the mass patrol. And I like what happened in the Barbies, over the months, they've been getting mass patrol, and mass patrol on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they call it mass patrol. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And some of the mass patrol, you have 12 people, you have 13 people, and they call it mass patrol. Somebody said they should drop the M from the mass. Perhaps the one who they say get a degree from the University of Kanji or Palmyra, maybe there's this way of dealing with the situation. But I agree with you. Yes, mass patrol, but use it and involve members of the community, members of the private sector, as the case may be, if you want it to be effective. But don't worry, the big cleanup campaign. No. Them things that can't work anymore.
Yeah. And again, these things were there. Mass patrols during the era of Commissioner Lewis and that. Organize it properly. You get the business community involved. They are going to be willing to give to loan vehicles and so on to assist in patrols. You have the traffic people involved, CID involved, the narcotics people, the K9 section, mass, well organized, and you target certain areas at certain times, and to give comfort to the people in that area. And of course, the mass patrol is got to be supplemented by the regular beat and vehicular patrols. Yeah, you do the mass patrol, but you can't just do that and leave it as that. So it's into them as to what they should really get involved in. Now, the next thing, there was a matter here I got to read. You know, and I try to read and educate the young policemen in particular, right? Young policemen in particular, and also members of the public. There is a report in yesterday's paper, Stabrook News, murder suspect shot, held after police chase on Yarrow Dam. Let me read what they say. 36-year-old Crazy Jamal Craig, who was wanted by the police over the murder of Dexter Horsham in 2023 at West Rhineville, was apprehended on Friday following a lively police chase. Dexter Horsham, 43 years old construction worker, was fatally shot on the afternoon of August the 10th, 2023, while a taxi driver sustained a gunshot wound following a confrontation over property at West Rhineville. I remember the report of the incident at the time. According to the police, this is what the police say. This is the police release now. According to the police, ranks on mobile patrol intercepted a black Toyota Allion car number. They get the number as I think. I know what's the relevance of that. Near the Pegasus Hotel on the Seawall Road, Kingston, Georgetown. The vehicle was being driven by Craig, who is a suspect, murder suspect. One of the patrol ranks, a sergeant, informed Craig that he was wanted in questioning in relation to the murder of Horsham and arrested him. So the sergeant saw him, told him that he was wanted in relation to this murder, arrested him. Here Nancy's story now. Police searched the car, but nothing of evidential value was found. Craig was then instructed by the sergeant to drive the car with his reputed wife and another rank inside to Rhineville Police Station. 2 other ranks followed behind on motorcycle. Let me read that back. This thing, you got to understand what they say. This is a murder suspect who is arrested by the seawall. He has his car. And they said they searched the car. Nothing of evidential value was found. Craig was then instructed by the sergeant, this is a sergeant of police, tell the murder suspect to go back in the car and he must drive to Rhineville Police Station. The murder suspect's reputed wife and some other policeman went in the car. Let me continue reading. However, on arrival in front of the Rhineville Police Station, Craig made a sudden left turn and drove off at a fast rate into Yarrow Dam, causing the ranks on motorcycle to give chase. According to the police, Craig drove to a point where the vehicle could not go further, exited, and began to run. He scaled several fences, and although he was called upon several times by the pursuing ranks to stop, he continued running and eventually jumped into a nearby trench. One of the ranks, who was armed with a service pistol, discharged one round at Craig, hitting him on the buttocks. He was subsequently apprehended and taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was admitted under police guard. Now they go on to talk about this battle that he was wanted for. But there are so many things wrong with this. And again, I say, like, the police cooperate propaganda unit, these civilians, Mark Ramatar and them, they don't understand when they give these type of releases, how stupid it sounds. Here it is. This man is wanted for murder, a murder that question in relation to murder, which occurred since August 2023. He's seen by the seawall, by Pegasus there. The sergeant on patrol approached him and told him that he's wanted, and he said the sergeant arrest him. This man was in a car, so they searched the car, right? And having finished searching the car, the sergeant instructed this man wanted for murder to drive this car to Rhineville Police Station. My Lord. You know, some of you might not know the caricature George Potato, but this is George Potato again. And it's a caricature. George Potato was said to be this stupid policeman who he arrested a man and the man ran away. Well, the man told him, look, I get my cap there. The cap fall along. I want to go for my cap. George Potato allowed him to go to his cap and the man ran away. So at some subsequent time, you see the man, he arrested the man again. And then he tell the man, say, well, look, you're going to tell me The man throw his cap again. You are going for this cap this time. You stay. I going for the cap. And of course, the man run away. So it's just potato we have all again. You arresting a murder suspect. And you're telling him that he must drive to Rival police station. And of course, the man drove and then the man decided to bust a sprint. Bust a sprint. And here again, before I bring him Mr. Conway, here what they're saying, this is what the police really saying, this is what the police saying. He could not go further. He exited the beacon and began to run. He scaled several fences. And although he was called upon several times by pursuing ranks to stop, he continued running and eventually jumped into a trench. One of the ranks, who was armed with a service pistol, discharged a round at Craig, hitting him in the buttocks. What was the justification for the discharge of the rounds? What was it? This is a man, you say he attack you, the man ran away from you, you pursued him, you claim, or you call on him to stop, he jumped several fences, he jumped into a trench, and you shoot him. No justification whatsoever. Young policemen understand, when you may fire, there is no absolutely no justification. I hope that the man recovers, and even if a proper investigation is done, the policeman can end up being charged because there was no justification for shooting this man. None whatsoever. Based on the release given by the police corporate communication unit, the corporate propaganda unit, the man run, he jumped several fences, he jumped into the trench. And when he jumped into the trench, he didn't attack you. He jumped into the trench. No attack, so there's no danger to anyone, and you shoot him in the buttocks. And when we talk about these things, the thing, and all of them come out and say you're attacking the police. No, we're not attacking. We are making it clear so people can understand, including policemen, that there are rules when you may fire. The first foolish act is this sergeant telling this murder suspect to drive to Rival police station. And then when the man decides to bust a sprint, you run behind the man, you call the need several times to stop, he ain't stop. He jump in a trench. He jump in a trench. And then when he jump in the trench, he is shot. And you call that proper police action, and you don't want that type of action, unprofessional action to be revealed, where we going to come and we going to reveal it, and y'all could say what y'all want to say and do whatever you want to do. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to say what he has to say. Since you were involved in training all the years, you and I was more at the TSU, teaching people the use of firearms and so on. You've been at the training school. How do you justify the shooting, and how do you justify the action of this police sergeant who tells a murder suspect who is arrested according to them to drive to the police station? Go ahead, my brother.
Back to basics, we weren't only involved in training, we were senior divisional commanders. And back to basics, I don't know what they're really doing now, because in our days, when a rank joined the police force, the issue with the recall the appointments, you got a button, you got a western chain, and you get a handcuff. For us, police don't use handcuffs anymore. And imagine the sergeant, if you see you arrested the man and then you allow the man to drive to Rumfeld police station, that first thing you should do, handcuff the man and perhaps call for backup. If you don't have anybody there who could drive in the vehicle, who are drivers qualified there, get some other police to drive the vehicle, or tow it away. You make the man drive in the vehicle. Yeah? You don't use handcuffs anymore. I always remember with the Michael Jackson story where they charged the doctor. As soon as the judge said that the man is guilty, police appear from nowhere, put the handcuff with the hand, and the handcuffs behind the back. And I see they're not handcuffing people with their hands in the hands in the back. That's the correct way. But imagine that. And then the say the man jumped several fences. That mean for say the police too must jump the fence. Maybe the police very agile and jump the fence behind the man, and then in a trench, and the man got shoot of all places in his buttocks. That mean for say his back was towards the police, or the police he was facing the police, and then when the police gave him, he turned around and get hit in his buttocks of all places. And you mentioned about when you may fire. We always talk about force order number 33 of 69, republished several times. And for those who cannot remember it, Let me repeat it. He said, when you attack and you apprehend serious danger to your person and unable to defend yourself by any other means, when property you are ordered to defend and you are unable to safeguard it by any other means, when attack is made to rescue person in lawful custody, when anyone is found committing felony, burglary, shop breaking, store breaking, arson or larceny, and cannot and does not desist after warning and cannot be deterred or arrested by any other means to prevent a police station or a post from being overrun when so ordered by a superior rank. And I don't do like this once, when so ordered by a superior rank, because the superior give you the order and it's lawful and it's unlawful, you are not bound to obey it. Or am I reading the tribunals for the war criminals, and where they say a general gives a private soldier an order and it is not lawful, he's not bound to obey it. So whenever you shoot at the wrong, you have to go back to when you may order. And that is the guiding principle, when you may fire. And I don't see any one of those things there that would make the shooting justified. None at all that can really cover you. And that's how we just operate. Since you have somebody shoot it wrong, you jump to when you may fire. The guiding principle, when you may fire. And I don't see it really. It didn't really cover the police there based on what they reported. Here a man jump several fences. The police must jump behind, end up in a trench, and he gets shot in the buttocks. That is policing, and they're not using handcuff anymore. You're not seeing police with handcuff. Put the handcuff on the person, restrain him. That's what you gotta do. Where he drive to Rumford police station. My God, maybe it's not a sergeant, maybe it was somebody wearing three stripe all.
Yeah, well, somebody's asking a very good question here. Let me put it up. The master, good question, Lyndon. Master, look, you can't understand the stupid act of the rank. He said this CID headquarters is closer to the seawall. Well, no, CID headquarters now has been temporarily relocated to Vicinian Road. But you have the TSU and all of these places right there, right in the TSU. A lot of police right nearby. A lot of police. And this thing about the vehicle, this reminds me of the plot to that COI that I conducted in the plot to assassinate President Granger. Because the two investigating ranks who were sent to the place on the East Bank to arrest the man who is alleged to have been involved in this plot, they're on the East Coast now. I think he's Sergeant or Inspector Pitamba and Laundry. Right? They are the ones who were when and they claimed that when the man was arrested, this is a man who they said they arrested him because he is implicated in a plot to assassinate the president. And he was made to drive his car from, I think it was Diamond East Bank to CID headquarters. So this driving thing what they're talking about is not unprecedented. This is a case where, as I've said, this man alleged to be involved in a plot to kill the president, and Pitamba and Landry allow him to drive his own car to go to CID headquarters. So this thing here now, with this sergeant, as Sisi said, maybe wearing three stripe is not a sergeant. That is a distinction. We used to make that distinction. When you're a sergeant, it's because you had control and you knew the job. You like somebody like you, the politicians like you, and you get three stripe. You are wearing three stripe, but you're not a sergeant. That's like some of the officers, as we say, they are wearing the officers' badge around, but they're not officers. They don't understand policing. They don't understand how to control, how to motivate ranks. They don't understand that. So they're not really officers, just wearing the badge of rank. But let me move on to the next issue. And we hope they take steps to correct it, Many times they're looking at the messengers and they're not looking at the message. It is total nonsense for you to arrest a man for murder or that, any offense but murder or that, on suspicion of murder, and then you tell him to drive to go to the station. Suppose a man is driving to the police, set the all up, drive and kill the police, driving to other people, decide as I go in, I ain't going down alone. I don't kill already, as you accuse me of killing, let me kill a couple more people along the way. All of that. So this thing is so foolish, and they're going to take no action, And even though I'm not necessarily advocating for action to be taken, I am saying that the people must be made to understand. There must be training. And one would expect that a person who holds the rank of sergeant would have known this. But you have a sergeant acting so foolishly. And as somebody said in the comment, if he had done the correct thing, arrest the man and cuff the man, get some vehicle to take him to the police station, you wouldn't end up with shooting and all of that. You would not have ended up with that. So one incorrect action has this type of chain reaction. But let me move on. On the last day, that would have been Friday, I explained this 25% extra duty fees that the ranks are up in arms with, saying they take out their money and so on. I don't think, based on the feedback that I got, I might not have explained it properly. So let me just quickly try to clarify. The 25% is attached to the amount of money the ranks get. Let me put it this way. So if, and that's a decision we took some years ago, many years ago, Larry Lewis was the Commissioner of Police, when we reviewed the extra duty fee, it was very, very small that these people had to pay the police for working extra duty, whether it's a dance, whether it's some sport, whether it's gold escort, whether it's explosive escort, these places, oh my, we said no, we are going to increase it. But what we did, we decided that whatever the increase it is going to include a 25% that will go to the police welfare fund. So in simple words, let's say if the rank was to get $75 an hour, and this is by hour, $75 an hour, we will charge the entity $100. The ranks will get the full 75, and the 25 will go to the police central welfare fund. And later you understand that they established a special 25% fund for this money to go in. So understand it. I might have given the impression on the last occasion that an additional 25% is paid by the entity to the police. That is not what I intended to convey. And my apologies if I conveyed or I misled you. The money that is paid to the police, all the money is going to be paid to the rank, inclusive of the 25%. And then the 25% is extracted to the Central Welfare Fund, or now to the 25% fund. So understand again, we said $75 an hour for the rank to get. And this is just an example I'm giving. $75, all right, we're going to charge the entity $100. The rank will get his full 75, and then the 25% will go to the Central Welfare Fund. So the intention was the entire force will benefit from the 25%. So I hope I clarified that now. I don't know if CC want to say anything to add any more clarity to it. I mean,
Yeah, that 25% goes into a special fund, and there's how they use it to pay out awards and things for outstanding work done by ranks. So it's kind of thing going back to the police force where they have the award ceremony and they use up that money for that purpose.
Yeah, Peter, we understand. I just use the $100 and the 75 as a basic example so people can understand. If you were getting 200, I know it's more than that, but I just use that as an example as to tell you how the system was intended to work. I don't know what happens now, but that is how it was intended. I was part of that arrangement because at the time I was the officer in charge of the TSU, and the TSU was the area which performed the most extra duties. Because we have people going on explosive escorts, we have people going to gold mines, Omai, and elsewhere, where they are there for month, 2 months, 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever it is. These gold mines, they have police ranks working there, and it is considered, at least part of the time, is considered extra duty. And I've been talking about extra duty, people complaining bitterly, ranks complaining bitterly, that they are working at some of these places, these gold mines, and they say since April of this year, they cannot get their extra duty money. Nobody is telling them anything. They go, they spend weeks, they come back, and nobody is telling them anything about the extra duty money. I made the point that when you are an officer and ranks are sent on duty, extra duty, you come back, you have a responsibility to follow up. It's the welfare of the ranks. They have given their labor and their services. You have a responsibility. And as I know it, these entities are made to pay promptly, and they used to pay promptly in my day. So I don't know what is going on now, where since April ranks have said they work extra duty and they cannot be paid. I don't understand what is happening there. I don't understand. It got to be bad management on behalf of the officers in the organization, because if the entity fails to pay with it promptly, you have to deal with them. You have to let them know that there is a requirement for them to pay the money promptly. And let me say this, because what we did too, ranks you to go to OMI. And let me say perhaps they go for a month. Again, just a figure. You're not going to wait until the end of the month. You're not going to wait until the end of the month. Perhaps at the end of every week, you submit your count. So the monies are made available. So once the ranks they come out, or maybe they get a family, they come and they get the money. They work for it, they should get it. You have to look into the welfare of the ranks. That is a responsibility of an officer. That is the responsibility of a subordinate officer. People below you, you have to look into their welfare. Right, let me move on. Now, the next thing I want to address, it seems to be, as I said, they got some drug syndicate, marijuana syndicate running around. That's my belief. Because in recent weeks, you had a policeman arrested on the East Bank with over 9 pounds of marijuana. He was charged, remanded. Shortly thereafter, 2 senior NCOs from the Guyana Defense Force arrested. They had 145 pounds of marijuana. And then over the weekend, 2 soldiers again arrested. They had 316 pounds of marijuana. Now, I say, I want to know if these ranks are known. It looked to me that there is some big drug syndicate, marijuana syndicate operating. That's the appearance. That is why they get police, soldiers are now being apprehended with large quantities of marijuana. And let me take this opportunity to shout out to the policemen who are making the arrests, because people tend to overlook that. We blame police for not doing the job, or we say all of them corrupt. All of them are not corrupt. All of them are not, because if all of them were corrupt, they wouldn't arrest the colleague, they wouldn't arrest the soldiers with these large quantities of marijuana. So you have people out there, policemen out there, who are committed to doing the right thing. And congratulations, kudos to them. Kudos to them. And that is the part people overlook, and we're not going to overlook it. So you have a situation, we say, and I'm saying that given the large quantities involved, this seems to be a well-organized arrangement. Well-organized. They have to have suppliers, they have to have receivers, because nobody traveling down with 316 pounds of marijuana hustling for catch a market. You must know where you're taking it, and I hope that the investigators are going to pursue all of this. Not only hold them, and I said GDF come without statement. He doesn't, I think, again, they come out, the statement when the ranks are arrested, to say he doesn't represent the GDF and all of that. Somebody need to investigate properly what is going on. And then in the manner in which this marijuana is wrapped, suggests that maybe they get overseas market. That is what I'm feeling. That's why I'm concluding. The manner in which it is wrapped, so professionally wrapped, shrink wrap and so on, there's a suggestion that they have overseas markets. So this seems to be a drug running syndicate operating within the GDF and the police force. And they have to make sure that these things are properly investigated. They don't arrest the people alone and put them before the court. I no doubt these 2 are going to be charged, put before the court. And if you are to follow the trend, they too are going to be remanded. But what about the whole network that seems to be in existence? Because I repeat, people are coming down with 9 pounds, 145 pounds, and in this case, 316 pounds of marijuana, looking for someone to buy a spliff. No. It has got to be organized. They must be taking it to they're supplying it to someone. And the money in which it is shrink wrap and all of that, look like overseas market involved. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to have his say in that, and then we're going to move on to the juicy thing. See, police, soldiers, caught with marijuana, prison officers smuggling rum. Your views, my brother?
Well, I won't be surprised if the next thing you know is some fireman getting involved in one of these things. Well, as you mentioned, it looks as though it's not for local consumption. Maybe it's for overseas consumption. And normally the army does be quick to hold a board of inquiry. But they're very silent. They hold a board of inquiry. If I were to put it this way, what they're doing is they're looking at the fruits. They're picking the fruits instead of dealing with the main root. And if you pick the fruits, other fruits will grow. But if you chop the main root, the tree gonna die. So deal with the main root. Find out where the main root there and chop off the main root so the thing will die. But it look as though it's a big syndicate, and it look little overseas-ish. Like it is for overseas consumption and not local consumption.
Yeah, you're right. That's the impression we get. And I'm saying again, don't stop at arresting and charging those runs. You got to look to the root. It is clear to me that when a man traveling with 416 pounds of marijuana, two soldiers, properly shrink wrapped, he ain't going and look for market. He has his market. He know exactly where he's taking it. Must know where he's taking it, and that seems to be some. They have some overseas connection there, and he ain't gonna drive overseas. I mean, it going someplace. It has to be put someplace and shipped overseas. So they got to investigate this thing comprehensively, a proper investigation. Now let me come into this other matter. I mentioned it yesterday in the notification. And it says SOCU, SOCU, the Special Organized Crime Unit of the Ghana Police Force, is set to be investigating the allegation against Assistant Commissioner Calvin Brutus, who is alleged to have attempted to launder $16.5 million through the police credit union. Reports suggest that there are other crimes may be involved. And SOCU is investigating. But then I was about to say I got a shock. I shouldn't shock. On Saturday, it was reported that the Special Organized Crime Unit have seized and searched the cellular phone, the personal cellular phones of several staff of the Ghana Police Force Credit Union. Nightly News, this is something from Nightly News, has been reliably informed that the corridors of power are livid over the fact that evidence of grave financial impropriety and corruption within the Ghana Police Force have made its way into the public's domain. Officers of SOCU grilled, fingerprinted, and photographed several staff of the credit union as they seek to find out who allegedly leaked information to media houses. Human rights advocate Melissa Atwell, well known as Melly Mel, retired Assistant Police Commissioner and former chairman of the Police Office Commission Paul Slow, and Rickford Burke, president of the Guyana Caribbean Institute for Democracy. They're quoting somebody as saying, they have their phones, they're going through personal pictures, messages, voice note, and all that. They say that they are acting on instructions. That is what one source related to 90 News. Telephoned on Sunday for an update on the case, a usually reliable source told 90 News that SOCU ranks have prepared charges for at least one staff of the credit union with cybercrime against the Ghana Police Force while no evidence was found. They just want to scare people. That is what the person is quoted as saying. Then they go on to say, the police, quote, the police have no power to seize and search a person's electronic gadget without a court order. This is what a legal mind told the reporter. A legal mind told the reporter. Let me go into it. Now, here it is. Calvin Brutus, Assistant Commissioner, is alleged to have attempted to launder money through the police credit union. 16.5 million Guyana dollars was deposited. It was deposited. When the persons in charge realized that, no, this was wrong, it was returned to him. Now, after the return, the story goes, the acting commissioner called these people who refused to accept this money. In other words, they are following the law, and he berated, he bucked them up, and they were transferred. They were transferred. Now, apparently, information is leaked. Well, let me tell them plain, they set up parts. Nobody then from credit union leaking nothing to me. I get other sources to get stuff. Right? Nobody leaked nothing from credit union, leaked nothing to me. I mean, I don't even know the people who they're talking about at credit union. So, all right, an investigation started. I made the point, and several persons have made the point, an investigation of this nature requires an independent body to conduct, not SOCU. And don't worry what the man at West Demerara said, that SOCU is an independent agent. SOCU is not. SOCU, the Special Organized Crime Unit of the Guyana Police Force, is a branch of the Guyana Police Force, headed by an Assistant Commissioner, Karim Bash, who is a member of the Guyana Police Force. And mostly all of the staff members, mostly all, are members of the Guyana Police Force. From time to time, they may employ a lawyer, and back in the day, they had the man from the UK, Sittleton, I think his name, to advise them. But it's a branch of the Guyana Police Force. It is not an independent body. So from the get-go, I said that SOCU was not competent enough to carry out this investigation. And I'm saying that this act by SOCU there over the weekend, where they are arresting persons who are possible witnesses to this crime, shows or confirms that they are not capable of conducting this investigation. They are going to go there and they are going to try to cover up. So rather than encourage people to come out and to tell you what you know, you're arresting and you're intimidating people, arresting illegally. Because if you're going to go through a person's phone, that is unlawful, it's illegal, it's unconstitutional. You cannot go through a person's phone like that. You have to get an order from a court. You got to get an order from a court. And this order has to come from the High Court. No justice of the peace or anybody like that. You have to make an application, go to the court, and of course, before the court gives such an order, you have got to present compelling evidence. You have to present them with at least proper reason. They're not going to just willy-nilly give you order to go and to invade a person's privacy like that. So they arrested people to take the phone and search the phone. And now I'm saying this before I go further. I will hope that those persons communicate with a proper lawyer, with a lawyer, to be advised and to bring some action against. You can't allow these actions to continue. Yes, you have to do an investigation, but you have to investigate within the confines of the law. And how are you? There's a protective, there's an act which covers these people. And you're going to arrest persons because you suspect they leak information. In other words, you suspect that they are whistleblowers. And you go and you arrest them. You have them in custody for how many days, I understand. And then you're threatening to charge them for cybercrime and all sorts of crap. That is what is going on. And you think people are going to have any confidence that you are conducting a proper investigation? No, because you start off wrong. And not only with the arrest of these persons, I said that SOCU started off wrong when Butas went and leave. And despite the fact that the commissioner lied and said there was no investigation, the next day you heard is the investigation. The first thing that they should have done, SOCU, is to go to the police credit union and seize all the vouchers and all of those related documents. All should have been seized. Credit union got to open new books and all this everything to continue the operation. But those documents and those books in question should have been seized and should be under the control of SOCU. That is what should have happened from the beginning. That is how you do investigations of this nature. So last week when I heard that the person who is in charge here now get meeting and trying to find out who leaked thing and then decide that she locking up all the documents. These are things which are evidence and should have been in the possession of the investigators, but they're still there at the credit union so that the manager can say that she's going to lock it up and nobody going to get access to it. Right away, the investigation going in the wrong direction. Right away, it started off in the wrong direction. And Karen, is not a mistake. Is they're doing this deliberately. This is a deliberate effort to clear the suspects. It's a deliberate effort to clear the suspects. So here it is. You did not seize the documents as is required in an investigation of this nature. And now, when you feel taking information, you're arresting the staff members who are possibly witnesses. Because all of those persons, they should have been made, or at least should have been asked to give statements about what they know about this $16.5 million and the transaction. All of them. Even as we said before, even if it's a negative statement, let them say that they know. But every single person at the credit union at that particular time should have been made to give a statement in relation to what they know about this $16.5 million. Because they know the diary and all of those things should have been taken into custody, where people book out the time said they're going to collect money or whatever it is. All of that should have been. So last week when you heard that the manager there still get his documents and decide she now going to lock off because she have one more thing leak and so on. Things gone wrong from the beginning. And when an investigation of this nature start off on the wrong foot, you can't correct it. It's difficult for you to be corrected. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. I have much more to say on this, but let me bring in Mr. Conway. CC, your view.
Yeah, Paul. Hear me? Partly is an attempt to scare witnesses. They want to scare the witnesses so they can give the evidence. And it's not only police witnesses, because this course of investigation will lead on to other persons, civilians in this issue. And to support you is that if you're doing the investigations, you have to seize documents, both the books and the electronic documents. You gotta seize, you gotta take possession of them. And who from SOCU is doing the investigation? They don't have anybody who could do any real kind of investigation. My information is that there's an assistant superintendent who didn't have any really proper training in terms of doing investigation, in real investigation. Yes, he did a 1 year special prosecutor course. Yes, he prosecutes, but he's not a good prosecutor. And and if you're going to do investigation, you have to get good investigators. He is not a proper investigation. I understand he's supported by some a junior lawyer, and then the head of SOCU itself. But the whole thing and the focus appear to be now to focus on to deal with people or to look at people who they suspected of leak investigation and leak documents to the Melly Mill and others who suspected. But you have to deal with the investigation. You have to do a credible investigation, a thorough investigation, and that is not being done. They're scaring people. They're scaring people, and after a while, people wouldn't have confidence in the police. People don't have confidence in SOCU. Perhaps the idea is that things should go wrong. That's why we're saying have outside investigators to do the investigation, not SOCU and them.
I'm hoping what we got to do is people got to do, let the international community knows what is going on. Let them know, right? If I were in the position of some of these influencers, I'm not an influencer. I would have written to all the people, the U.S. Embassy, the British High Commission, the EU, and let all of them see what is going on and name names who are the investigators and show how they are violating the rights of people. They are violating the rights, human rights of people, so that perhaps the US and them don't want to step in and deal with the sanctions again. That maybe that is what has to happen. And let me say the Protective Disclosure Act of 2024 as amended. And let me tell you what part says. It protects workers in the public, private, and non-for-profit sectors from retaliation if they speak up about wrongdoings in the workplace. So if you speak about wrongdoing, and this is clearly wrongdoing, not only speak up, but they provide evidence of wrongdoing in the workplace. And they're supposed to be protected under the Protective Disclosure Act. In other words, the Whistleblower Act says that these people ought to be protected. You ought not to, they should not be victimized, they should not be prosecuted or in any way intimidated. And that is what you have happening. Is the same thing they did to Boscom, who disclosed this big corruption in the death of Paper Shot's murder. They hung him, charged him, they got him before the court with cybercrime charge and also to get rid of him out of the job in violation of the law. And when a request was made to the president by Boscom's lawyer, the president refused to get involved and to provide the protection as required by the law. So these people too, they are intimidating them so that they cannot, or if they're going to either going to give a statement, some concocted statement to try to clear. But I'm saying this, with the amount of evidence that is floating around, the receipt for the $16.5 million and all the other stuff, let them cover it up. Let them say that is not true. We're waiting. We're going to keep highlighting. Let them say that this is not true. Let them be bold. Because the next thing you know, they're going to come to concoct something and send it to the DPP. I know the DPP will do whatever the government wants her to do. That is what's going to happen. So they're going to say, like in the Damlal case, no evidence to charge Brutus in this matter. That is what is likely to happen. But let me see. Let's wait and see. In the meanwhile, we are going to keep the matter on the front burner. It ain't dying down. And as Mr. Conway said, who in SOCU, people, you know, they say SOCU doing the investigation, SOCU doing the investigation. But as we said before, SOCU is the entity. Who in the entity is conducting the investigation? Is it the man in charge of SOCU himself, the assistant commissioner in charge? Is it one of the other junior officers there doing this investigation? Who is doing the investigation? And 3 weeks or so since this matter came up, and Brutus, 2 weeks at least, Brutus was made to go on leave. Have they pulled Brutus in to get a statement from him in relation to this matter? We know that according to the information, the acting commissioner called these ranks and berated them. So the acting commissioner is likely to be a target of this investigation because he seems to have been complicit. He seems to have started the cover-up, perverting the course of justice, if it is that these ranks were transferred on this instruction. Even if he did not instruct, he's the commissioner, he's sitting in the chair. When he learned that these ranks were transferred because they were doing the right thing, what did he do? Did he stop it? No, he did not. He did not. And again, let me what he did. Let me play this thing, you know. I gotta remind you all. Again, we say the story was Brutus, like since December last year, I think it was, deposited $16.5 million cash Guyana currency, 2 black bags. They took it to the credit union. The person in charge wasn't there at the time, so the money was entered into the records. A receipt was issued. The evidence is there. The evidence is there. When the person in charge returned to office and realized what transpired, no, this thing can't work like that. Return the money. The money was returned. The information is, the allegation is, when the acting commissioner learned of that return of the money and the entire transaction, he called the ranks to his office and he berated, he bucked them up. And the ranks were transferred from the credit union. We made the point here because one of the students said that the credit union or any credit union is a financial institution. And even if it is staffed by members of the force, it has to be controlled by a board of directors. And no officer, including the commissioner, including the man in charge of admin Brutus at the time, should be able to remove those persons willy-nilly. But that is what was done. That was what was done. And then, I'll play this thing here. When the commissioner acting the extended squatter lied to Dennis Shebral. Listen to
Guyana's acting commissioner of police Clifton Hicken today laid to rest claims that his deputy commissioner of police acting Calvin Brutus is on the investigation by the Special Organized Crime Unit. Hicken spoke with reporters on the sidelines of the first legal conference on criminal justice reform at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown.
It's about Mr. Brutus and the multi-million dollar deposits. Is it true or not?
No, it's not true. And I made a release already through our system.
You didn't see it?
Yeah, I made a release. It's in the system. There's no investigation going on whatsoever.
And no deposits?
Nothing whatsoever. You know.
Okay, thank you.
Brutus, who served as the force admin officer, was transferred to Special Branch, while Deputy Commissioner Provincial Dat Budram is now in charge of administration, while the head of the Special Branch, Assistant Commissioner Errol Watts, is now in charge of operations. In a statement from the police, it said that the move is part of the modernization plan for the Guyana Police Force.
Again, the man sent on leave. They say he asked to go on leave. And here what they're saying, part of the modernization plan of the Guyana Police Force. Another lie. And I am saying, and I joined the call, that statement alone from Ikin, that no money was deposited and that no investigation was ongoing, right? That renders him unfit to remain in the office. That renders over the weekend I see former Minister of Home Affairs, Kemra Dramdatan, said the same thing. And several persons, including Roshan Khan, who cannot be said to be anti-police. They say we are anti-police, even though we are not. Roshan Khan said he should go. When he reaches retirement age, he should go. The leader of the main opposition said he should go. Everybody wants him saying that he should go. And not that, and because of his action, this man lied to the media, the man lied to the world, said, oh, no money was deposited. Oh, no investigation. When there was evidence that the money was deposited, he called the people and berated them because of this transaction and then lied to the media. That in itself demands that he be removed from there because he is complicit. That action from him, that statement from him, showed that from the get-go, he was part of the cover-up of this whole arrangement. That statement alone say that Ikin should be made to either he pass retirement age, retire and go away, or if they don't want to retire him, even though he passed retirement age, he should be sent off to facilitate this investigation. Because I want to ask this question here. If you say that the matter is being investigated by SOCU, and we know by now that perhaps the ranks are junior, much junior, how will that go? Are they going to send a message? Please warn Acting Commissioner Ikin and Assistant Commissioner Brutus to report to SOCU headquarters in connection with the matter on the investigation. How are we going to go? Or is the head of SOCU going to pick up the phone, or call Brutus and say, Calvin, come to the office at such and such a time, such and such a date in relation to this investigation? I can't see the calling the kin to go to SOCU. So what's going to happen? The rank involved in the investigation is going to go across to the commissioner's office, sit there and wait and tell the personal assistant, sir, I'm here. Please advise the commissioner that I'm here to conduct this investigation and I would want to speak with him. Is how it's going to go? You understand how ridiculous this thing is? And then when you go there, you go to Brutus, or you salute and you say, good morning, sir. I'm here to conduct an investigation with you. Is that how it is going to go? Let us know. Let us know. You're going to send a message and hear this. Hear this. So long in this investigation, have you not requested a statement from these people as yet? You can't compel them to give statement, especially Brutus, because Brutus is the target. By now, someone should have called Brutus, put the allegation to him, and caution him. They should have done the same to Ikin. An allegation is made that they're involved in money laundering and he might have been complicit. Somebody should have approached, put the allegation to him. Good morning, sir. You are accused of money laundering in that on the such and such a day in December 2023, you deposited $16.5 million into your account at the police credit union. You're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, and anything you say will be taken in writing and given evidence against you. Why I ain't saying nothing? Good. That's right. You're bound to talk. You're bound to talk. You don't have to say anything. That is his constitutional right. How is it going to go? How this investigation? You're locking up the ranks, the junior ranks at the credit union because you suspect that they leak information. But have you put the allegation to Brutus and caution him and tell him of his right to not to give a statement unless he so desires? That is even more reason why we're saying this thing want independent people to investigate, because I do not see any one of the people at SOCU going to Ikin, going to Brutus and doing that, putting the allegation to them. If they were to do that, it should have been done by now. It should have been done by now. From the day you get the thing to investigate, one of the first things you should have done, you should have either gone to Brutus, send a message for you if you want to be decent, or you go to your receipt, bring it to the office, you put the allegation to him, you caution him. As a matter of fact, you're going to put the allegation since you're arrested there, wherever you're there. And you live in police headquarters, I understand, in the officer complex there. So you're not far to go. But how is this investigation going to go if we say SOCU conducting this investigation? We want to know. I want to know. I want to know how this investigation can go when you get some junior rank some junior rank conducting this investigation. Let me understand, the police force is a disciplinary organization, and even though the junior rank might be well intent, have good intentions, is the seniors he dealing with? The man will study his future because they can blackmail you, they can deny him promotion. They can, as they have been doing in recent times, they can concoct something for get rid of you. And therefore, the man must be considering all of that. Anybody in the force will consider all of that. Because you don't have the people with a strong moral authority like you had long ago. People talking about super panic and people like Vaughan and Gentle and them investigating. They don't care once they're investigating, they are investigating whether you're police or not. But you don't have the quality of people now. So I don't know how this investigation gonna go. I don't know how this investigation is going to go. And this is why I will continue to say SOCU does not have the capacity to investigate this matter. SOCU is an agent or an agency or a branch of the Guyana Police Force. And to ask them to investigate the persons who were at the time the most senior, that is the acting commissioner and the man in charge of admin, that is a bridge too far. They can't do it. They cannot do it. Notwithstanding what all of the people jump into the rescue to say, including the public service, the private sector commission and all them, talking a lot of nonsense. Right? Let me move on with the same thing. We are done yet. This is going to take the rest of the day. As I say, join the call. Now, let me say this. Then we come to the next part here now. Let me read this part, and then I'm going to bring in Mr. Conway. I want dominate the batting too much, even though I'm doing well and I'm scoring nice runs. I'm finding the gap up on farm. So every time I drive, the ball is in the gap, and the wicket fast, and they can't chase it. It has a downward slope. So once you find the gap, you time the ball, you find the gap. The ball runs away to the boundary, and that is what is happening here. Saturday, Dennis Shabon from Guyana, from the Demerara Waves. High Court freezes bank account linked to police officer's wife. And that was the birthday gift I got. High Court freezes bank account linked to police officer's wife. Hear what it says. As a wide-ranging probe by the Guyana Police Force's Special Organized Crime Unit, SOCU, into alleged financial improprieties widens, investigators within the past week obtained high court orders to freeze at least 2 bank accounts for businesses being operated by the wife of a high-ranking police officer. And they're quoting somebody and saying, we have frozen the accounts. SOCU has frozen all those accounts, gotten permission of the High Court to freeze those accounts so they can't withdraw from those, and these run into large sums of money, hundreds of millions of dollars. An official told Demerara Waves Online News on strict condition of anonymity. Well-placed sources informed Demerara Waves that the Financial Intelligence Unit, in collaboration with SOCU, obtained the court orders after suspicious transaction in the form of huge deposits were seen in the bank's account in a manner to avoid the generation of a suspicious transaction report in keeping with the anti-money laundering and countering of financial terrorism rules. Quote again, we found that on some days, several deposits were made on the same day, but splitting it up below the 10,000 US mark to avoid it being picked up by the system, the official said. Investigators believe that contracts were awarded, a quote here again, through corrupt activities. Home Affairs Minister, end the quote, Home Affairs Minister Robeson earlier this month publicly said that a big problem facing the Guyana Police Force was procurement-related fraud. He said that several government agencies, such as the Auditor General's Office and the Integrity Commission, I know the Integrity Commission is a government office, would be expected to participate in a probe that had already begun. Vice President Jagdeo had been saying, let the chips fall where they may, in relation to an investigation into alleged financial improprieties by Assistant Police Commissioner Calvin Butas. Mr. Butas declined to comment on a reported $16.5 million deposit into Guyana Police Force Credit Union account when he was asked in person. He has opted to proceed on annual education leave to facilitate the probe. Government has said that he would not be eligible for promotion, blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you this. And you know, it's amazing that this man, who is supposed to be a senior police officer, who's supposed to be a lawyer, admitted to the bar in Ghana to practice law, can get his wife making deposits, frequent deposits, and they believe that if you make deposits below 10,000, even though they're frequent, it's not going to attract the attention and the suspicious transaction report. But I have news to them. I have news to them. And he should know, well, he obviously know. Because this suspicious transaction report, the STR, is generated if you're going to deposit $10 million, 2 million Ghana dollars or above, 10,000 US. Even in the US, you know, even in the US. If you're going to deposit $10,000, it generates a suspicious transaction report, and the feds get involved. Guyana, something similar happened. 2 million Ghana dollars, this report is generated. So what I do? You know, old people say smart fly. You know what has happened to smart fly? Let me hear if you students know what has happened to smart fly. Give you a chance to respond, man. I can tell you, you know, as what the countryman say, what has happened to smart fly? Now on the show cars, Sean, I can tell you this now. Now on the show cars, what has happened to smart fly? Come on, students, come on, don't let me down. Come on, I'm still waiting. Nobody has responded yet. Denise, what has happened to smart fly? Somebody say there's land for shit. Ulrich, no, Ulrich, you indecent. Somebody say lock up in cow behind. No. Where you go from, they say smart fly, does get locked up in cow cacao. They say in country, I'm a country boy, smart fly, does get locked up in cow cacao. Yes, Sean, cacao, you get locked up. That's what happened to them. That is what happened. Because what happens, they got something they call structuring. I do money laundering course, you know. They got something they call structuring. So if you make frequent smaller deposits, smaller than 10,000 US or smaller than 2 million Ghana, based on the frequency of the deposits, that too will generate the report. So you're not going to necessarily put $10,000 or $2 million. If every day you're going and put down a 4 million, a 5 million, a 2 million from Monday to Friday, next week you come back with a 500,000, it is going to generate a suspicious transaction report. And that is what, so they believe they're so smart that, all right, we ain't putting down the 2 million, we can put down every day, according to what the thing is, that they're going every day or many times a day, and you put down a little 500,000, a little 1 million, 3-4 transactions a day, believing that you're not going to generate, you're not going to attract this suspicion transaction report. And the man is a liar, you know, even though he's a COVID liar, I would have thought that he knew that. So they seize the account, they freeze the account. But let me say this. You freeze the 2 accounts, they say, of the wife with hundreds of millions of dollars inside. What happened to the accounts of Brutus himself, who's been investigated? What happened to the accounts of other people, like the commissioner who were likely to be target of this investigation? Have they taken steps to freeze those accounts as well? What happened to all, when we're talking about money laundering here, and we're talking about, as I said, the law relating to money laundering and countering of financial terrorism rules, what happened to the properties belonging to these people who might have been, that might have been illegally acquired? We understand that they get property all over. Brutus has a property at Aslington. He got property on the East Bank, I understand. We know that he had applied for and he got property on the East, on the Linden Highway. He got land there. He wanted to operate a sandpit. Permission wasn't given. That is what the vice president said. They get properties all over. And I would have expected, that is why we say that this thing requires a wider investigation. Because we would have expected that something would have done to all them properties. I mean, you can't seize properties like that, like you could freeze. You can't freeze a property like how you freeze the bank account. But I would expect that a proper investigation will look into all of that. A proper investigation. So then it goes on here. Let me tell you further. when we talk about this investigation, they talk about the entire procurement process. And the vice president talking about the procurement process. The minister of Home Affairs talking about procurement process. They just wake up. Rip Van Winkle. The United States sanctioned the permanent secretary because they say that it was corruption in the procurement process. And then they outline our permanent secretary can influence that process. And that is what she was accused of. So right under their nose, this thing was going on. And then you come out there, hot and sweaty 2 weeks ago, talking about corruption in the procurement process in the Guyana police force. And let me read something to you. When you talk about procurement process, then I'm going to bring in Mr. Mr. Conway. We're talking here about conflict of interest. That's a phrase that has been in the news recently, conflict of interest. And let me tell you, and I wrote this on the social media page, you can go and look at it. Let me say what I believe is conflict of interest. A senior officer and his wife registered 2 separate companies. Now let me tell you what the companies are. Registered 2 separate companies. I get it here. I have everything here, you know. So, you know, there's one for Sue. One of the companies named Kitus General Contracting and Holdings, Inc. KYTUS. General Contracting and Holding Inc. Company registered. The company number is 14638, registered in the name of Calvin Brutus of Lot 28, Lot Arlington, East Coast, Demerara, and it was registered on the 28th day of June, 2023. Kitus General Contracting and Holdings. And then the next one, AAA Depot Business, not AAA Depot Business number 224101, registered on Wednesday, the 21st of June, 2023. The nature of the business, general store, grocery, pharmaceuticals, and hardware. The owner name is registered Adonika Alicia Alder. These are the businesses registered, and this last name that they call is said to be the wife of Brutus. So, as I'm saying, a senior officer and his wife registered 2 separate businesses. Those companies are alleged to be supplying goods and services to the organization that the officer holds a senior position in. That is the Guyana Police Force. And then we go on to say, as a matter of fact, he is the person responsible in that organization, the police force, for payments. It therefore follows that he has to approve or sign off on invoices submitted by the companies owned by himself and wife. And we're saying that that should be a part of the investigation. It's also alleged that the wife mothers, the officer mother-in-law, is a supplier of goods to the organization. And then I send it over to the Guyana Revenue Authority, the Auditor General, and others for a more proper investigation. And they're talking about procurement. That is what going on. The man sit down there, the man get company, the man establish a company. And his company is made, well, of course, who making the requisition? He, on behalf of the company. Or he got some agent working with he on behalf of the company. He, as the man in admin, has to approve that. And then when the invoices and so on come, he got to sign off on the invoices and approve to himself and his wife. And there is not conflict of interest. All of this thing got to be investigated. And again, I repeat, SOCU is not capable of doing all of that. And let me, so yeah, we have that. Let me say what more. I made notes, you know. Let me make notes. And then you get, look, this thing is so ridiculous. And then we saw not so long ago too, a report that Chandel supplying fish. Chandel get some company supplying fish to the police messes. Within a relatively short space of time, she supplied $60-something million Guyana worth of fish to the Brigdam mess, the TSU mess, and the training, the academy as they call it now mess. $60-something million in fish. And as somebody said, those fishes were swimming in the gold pond. This gold smuggling pond, those fishes were swimming in. It's a whole set of corruption where Chandel say, well, they say that Chandel is the relative of some minister. And Chandel is alleged to have said that she just fronting for somebody. It's not she, right? So all of that, they need to investigate. There's a lot of fish, 60-something million. Even you take the most expensive fish, is a lot of fish. You're talking about $60-something million of fish. Yes, Lado, is a lot of fish supplying. So this corruption thing with the procurement and thing runs deep, 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 deep. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. CC, all this procurement story and all them we talking about. What's your take, my brother?
You sound energized, like you ate a lot of fish from Chanel, you know. But then the whole thing, this whole thing from the inception started to go wrong. Because here was it the extended squatter found himself in the 54th state, a state of denial. We saw the clip in a state of denial. And I remember the trial of the century, O.J. Simpson, when Johnny Cochran said the witness was in the state, was in the 54th state, a state of denial, and the judge didn't understand what he was talking about. And then he talked about United States, there are 50 states, and Puerto Rico applied to become the 54th state and was denied. So the witness, the main witness, and the lead witness in that trial, ended up in the state of denial, where the 54th state, and here is it, the squatter in the 54th state, a state of denial. But we be saying that, hey, this thing is too big for a SOCU, and the thing is that it's not only the credit union, it's what happening at the quartermaster stores, the police consumers, the mess at the training school, and I can't call it no academy. The mess at Brickdam, the mess at TSU, the mess at the SC headquarters, that dealing with ranks who working at Timiri International Airport. We're talking about the accounts for the loaner driver package, the welfare fund, the fine fund, the benevolent fund, the 25% fund that you mentioned earlier. And SOCU can't think because SOCU get an assistant superintendent, is a lead investigator, assistant superintendent, aided by some junior lawyer and supervised by the head of SOCU doing the investigation. And the same ASP is 52 years old, and he's saying he wants to become a superintendent by the time he turned 55, unless they extend him. And they cannot do the forensic investigation that we talk about. And this morning I was reading the newspaper where there's an article by Anand Gulsaran. It's entitled Forensic Audits. How different they are. How different are they from the other forms of auditing? And here is what he said, and I quote in part of it. Say, a forensic audit is a specialized form of audit into allegation of fraud or mismanagement of resources of an organization. If the allegation proved to be true, the forensic audit gathers the necessary evidence to be used in a court of law to prosecute those involved or found those before involved in fraud or mismanagement. Let me go for the sake of emphasis. A forensic audit is a specialized form of audit into allegation of fraud or mismanagement of resources of an organization. If the allegation proved to be true, the forensic audit gathers the necessary evidence to be used in a court of law to prosecute those involved in fraud or mismanagement. And I think this is applicable to the situation. And I advise you to read the article in today's Tablet News by Alan Gutsuran. And that's what we're saying. There is need for forensic audit. But all they're doing, they're covering up and they're covering up and they're covering up and they're scaring witnesses. So the focus now is on to find out who leak information about the cover up that they're doing there. You know, there's all the thing. Instead of doing the proper investigation, but then again, they don't have the professional technicality or the professional confidence to do a forensic audit. Therefore, it will be cover up, cover up, cover up, and then you're going to hear the politically inclined people say there is insufficient evidence to prosecute Brutus. But we need to continue, and we need to continue to expose things, and there gotta be external pressure on the government to make sure that the proper forensic audit is done.
Yeah, you're so correct. You're so correct. We got to keep talking about it. I know as somebody said here, somebody said he took away, you know, they're talking about the admin man Brutus. When they took over there, you had a lot of small people supplying different items to the police, consumers co-op, and the policemen. Stop all of that. Man, stop. And decided that they got to do the supply is Muddy Land and them. And you know, let me remind you again, students, that on the 28th day of June 2021, Chief Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire ruled in that matter with Brutus. And she said it is there that she found Brutus to be self-serving. The man at admin in the Guyana Police Force, the de facto second in command, was found to be self-serving by the court. And what they did, they left him there. They left him there. So he decided everything he got to supply, his wife, his mother-in-law, all them got to supply. Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of items. And, you know, for those of you who don't know, as I said, the man in charge of admin in the police force is the man who controls the purse string. So, for example, the police finance office, all them millions of dollars, nothing should move unless he approves it. The police quartermaster store got to requisition and got to purchase millions and millions, hundreds of million dollars worth of items, uniform, and all kind of items. You have the construction section, don't forget them. Millions and millions of dollars. I see a man on here who was in charge of the construction section once, honorable, decent man. But since he left, things gone a while. In charge of all of that, I remember of a story being told, a rumor being going around, big cuss out between the man there and some sergeant at the construction section when he believed the sergeant collect and didn't give him his fair portion, right? Didn't collect and give him his fair. No, Sean Mounted Branch used to come under the TSU. So you have construction section, the police messes, Brickdam, TSU, the academy, all of those places come under the admin man. So if you have an admin man who is self-serving, as stated by the Chief Justice, you're putting cat to wash milk. You are putting cat to watch milk. And that is exactly what happened. So how are they now surprised that this man laundering money, alleged to be laundering money, get properties all over the place, bought a property, it is alleged, at the corner of Albert and 5th Street, Albert Town, that had the bar, Frenzy's Bar. Had it demolished, a good building, demolished the building, police had to turn up to block out the traffic with a view to establishing something there. Get properties all over, but 3 or 4 other properties all over in a short space of time between 2020 and now, within 4 years. All of that. And you want to tell me that they're going to cover it up? Well, let me see how they're going to cover it up. And don't forget, long before this money laundering scheme was uncovered and reported, we were telling you of other things. We told you, for example, I'm going to give you again, I say, this investigation got to be wide-ranging. People like the police finance officer, people like the person at the quartermaster store, they too got to be pulled in, because I can't see all of these checks being prepared, vouchers being prepared at the finance office, and the finance officer and draw this suspicious activities to nobody's attention. ENC, all of this conflict. The police finance officer, demanded the quartermaster stores because they said they had a big fraud there, $300 million worth. They removed the person who was there, they put in somebody else. All of these people, because the allegation is that they are paying for a certain number of items, let's say 1,000, they're only getting 500 or some fraction of that number that they order and paid for, all of that. So again, we say SOCU can handle this thing. It is wide, wide, wide. And then who can forget the allegations about those advances? Let me show you all. This is an advance. I know if you have to read it, but I get it here, I write out, I will read them to you all. We get 3, and there are more. There are more. This is an advance form. The first one here is supposed to be 200 in the name of, I think they say, look at that, a sergeant. A sergeant, look the name, Marcia Lois, who was his secretary. And this is an advance. The first one here, let me read it off. $200,000. The advance was made on the requisition was made on the 12th of December 2020. And the purpose of the advance was to traveling to Port Kaituma in relation to matters under investigation. And it was then said that this advance will be paid, where the date there? Look at that on here. Advance will be repaid on the 12th of October 2021. So your requisition for an advance to say that you're going and do traveling to Port Kaituma in relation to a matter under investigation, $200,000, and then you're getting this on the 22nd day of December. This is a secretary, you know. This is not an investigator. This is the Brutus secretary at the time. To go to Port Kaituma to do investigation, and you're going to pay back this advance in October 2021, almost a year after. That is not the way the system goes. That is why we say the Auditor General should wake up and get involved in this as well. Has this advance been repaid? And I am sure if they investigate, they're going to find one. The person who requisitioned the advance went nowhere because she's not an investigator. And even if she was to go, because you take an advance, what happens? You got to go and you got to pay for hotel. You got to pay for meals. You got to pay maybe for local transportation, because when you get a cash advance, it's not to buy airplane ticket, because to go to Port Kaituma, well, you can go by boat, but it's going to take days, and I expect you got a plane. What happens in the financial system is that you get an invoice from the airline, and then the check is drawn directly to the airline. So this advance had to be for hotel and other. And again, I say that this person is not an investigator. Has this advance been cleared? And if it is cleared, examine the receipts. Do the investigation. Did this rank travel anyway? They can get records. This is an easy investigation to determine all this fraud that was going on. And look who signed approving the advance. Calvin Brutus, Senior Superintendent, DC Acting. He signed requisition. Look at that here, Mr. Brutus. No, this is the name of the person who made the thing. M. Lewis. M. Lewis. Comrade, this thing is deep. This thing is deep. And have they asked them questions yet? Have they inquired from them? And look at next one. Look at next one right here. This one here now, this second one is let me get George, an advance to George. George. They said that George is his driver. Same thing, $200,000. And this one is even more ridiculous because this was applied for on the 24th of December, 2020. Of the 24th of December, Christmas Eve day, 2020. And they say the purpose here, let me get it here. The purpose here, traveling to Port Kaituma in relation to a matter under investigation. The repayment date is not stated. The repayment date is not stated. So again, are they investigating this? Did George actually go on an investigation on the Christmas Eve day? A driver is not an investigator. Brutus again approved. Look at here. The evidence. There's one for now you get the evidence. The evidence is there. And I remember the 24th of December 2020 very well, because there's a day after the president wanted his people to be promoted. when we had the conversation tonight. And that is the same day, the 24th of December 2020, when Minister of Home Affairs Robeson communicated to Nigel Appy, who was carrying out the functions of the commissioner, that he wanted some ranks charged criminally. Those ranks, some of the ranks who were shortlisted. More corruption. Look at third one here. Look at third one. Now let me read what the third one says here. This dated on the 8th day of December 2020, traveling to Cato and Orinduke in relation to matters under investigation. Understand the repayment date to be the 28th of December 2020. And this is another one for George apply for this advance. So you got a lot of things to investigate. This is all part of the corruption that's going on there. And the common denominator in all of this, Brutus' name calling in all of this. Brutus' name is calling in all of this. $200,000 a pop. And in December alone, George got 200,000, is 400. Griffith, Lewis got another thing. And there are other forms. So it's a big, stinking corruption racket been going on at police headquarters for a long time. And that was a continuation of similar racket in elsewhere. You put cat for watch milk, that is what you get. The Chief Justice told you all that the man is self-serving and you did nothing. So what do you expect? What do you expect? Let me bring in Mr. Conway. See those advances. We spoke about them before. But it's good to bring it back again to refresh people's memory.
So true. So true. And then the thing is that when persons query, they were told, hey, as long as you see me signature, you don't query nothing. You just postpone the thing there. And when I look at it, during the period that the squatter, extended squatter, and Brutus there, during their period there, my last count is that 19 ranks from the police finance officer were transferred. 19 ranks. They're very strategic. They get rid of those experienced ranks, moving out the system, and put junior ranks who they could control. Those who would say, hey, they're everything there, they move them out 19 and put junior people with no kind of financial experience so that they can do their own thing. And before I close this one, I wonder where they get funds from to build a swimming pool at the training environment there. A swimming pool at the training environment. Where was this money budgeted there? Was it single source or they are tendering? They built a swimming pool there and asked where the money came from. Was it budgeted? And did they advertise it? Or was it single source? All is part of the corruption and as a part of the investigation they must do. The swimming pool at the police environment.
Now, the next thing I want them to look at, because I hear this is how the thing was facilitated. You see, back in the day, the police force was self-accounting, meaning that they account for all the monies budgeted to them, whether it's capital, whether it's current. And that happened, I think, up to when Usman Ali was the finance officer. When Winston Felix took over as commissioner, they removed that responsibility from the police, took it back to the Ministry of Home Affairs. I understand recently, post 2020, they gave back police the current accounting responsibility. Again, cat for watch milk. So all the current account, dealing with all them current account stuff, hundreds of millions of dollars budgeted, is the police admin man get the responsibility to deal with that, and the finance officer. So again, I said the finance officer got to be questioned in all of this as well. And as we have said, we will continue and we're going to bring the information. We're going to bring the information. And we're going to talk about all what is going on, all these corrupt people that they have there. They're putting them, as Mr. Conway said, they transfer all the experienced people, put people who they can manipulate, people there who are malleable. They can tell them what they want and give instructions that once you see me signature, don't query anything. And that is what is going on. So these people got to be questioned. And let me tell you, more of them. You get one of them a lying one there. What thief money at the police finance office? That was when Green was the commissioner. A female involved in a big scam at the police finance office. And what happened? Green transferred she to some other location. Green transferred her to some other location. And knowing Henry Green as well as we do, you want to know if there was a quid pro quo. Because Henry Green ain't gonna do nothing for nothing. Thief money, and them they're in position now. I can talk, I can call name and all them type of thing at the appropriate time. A lot of thieves you have there. And they're coming now and accusing people of all kind of wrongdoing. All kind of come like the holier than thou. Them are blasted thieves. They are dishonest. And now you find the Rip Van Winkles have awoken. That is Jagdeo and Robeson talking about procurement problem at the police and things. They're down there, they're not doing nothing about it. Right under Robeson nose, May Thomas. China doing its own thing. It took a sanction from the U.S. Treasury Department for wake up. All of a sudden now, people being arrested at the airport for smuggling gold. All of a sudden now, they know they get seminar on procurement and seminar on corruption. All of a sudden, they wake up and they smell the coffee. All of a sudden, they wake up and smell the coffee. What is going on? And we're saying that in order for this thing to be properly ventilated, SOCU can handle it. You need a proper investigation. And don't say we foreign-minded. The reason why we're saying so is because the only people who are, well, let me put it this way. There is no agency, in my view, in Guyana and the Caribbean that can properly handle such a big investigation. Conrad, this thing has tentacles all over the place. This investigation, only now you hear about the fish with a minister family, $60-something million in fish. You're hearing that the man office was searched and over $100 million in cash found, and then they said, well, it's hard-earned money. You're hearing now that the bank freeze at least two accounts, hundreds of millions of dollars. Where was the Financial Intelligence Unit and all these agencies all the time? Where is the Accountant General? Where people are making advances, taking cash advances from the police force, $200,000 a pop to go and do investigation. People who are not investigators. Where is the Auditor General in all of this? All of them sleeping. They're all sleeping. And they are complicit by their inaction. That is my view. If you aren't dealing with this thing, then you're complicit by your inaction. In the case of Ikin, he's complicit by his action. Because he had the people transferred, and then he got on the thing and he lied to say that no money was lodged and no investigation is ongoing. Again, I say, folks, it has been 2-3 weeks now, and you ain't hearing much, except that they're going after the witnesses. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that an investigation is to be launched or was launched, and the person who you're targeting are the persons who are likely to be witnesses in this matter? People who are supposed to give evidence to support what you are investigating. No, you pull them and you threaten them with cybercrime charge. I hope that these people get a lawyer. And I would hope that the lawyers are wrong. Darren, Dexter, y'all should really get on to these people. Pro bono, my brothers, pro bono. Or get some organization to pay you what your fees are to make sure you represent the interests of these people. First of all, the fact that they arrested those persons, seized their phones, searched their phones, that is an invasion, an unlawful and unconstitutional invasion of privacy. And I will hope that you all will pick that up. I will hope that you will pick that up. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for his closing, and then I'm gonna run out from here. CC?
Yeah. So we will continue pressing on. And as we said, I love my sound monotonous, that this investigation got to be broadened, got to be wider, and it calls for outside investigation, and it calls for forensic investigation. Forensic investigation is just too big. It's too big. So who can handle it? They don't have the persons with the skill, with the technical knowledge, with the professionalism to really deal with this situation. They get a man who coming off next within 2 years and he was in for turn superintendent, the EASP, and he's a lead in investigating the matter. And how is he always going to send for senior superintendent masquerading for assistant commissioner masquerading as a deputy commissioner, say, come sit on a so the case, or perhaps he going to do like what the man from the other investigating unit OPR, perhaps he going to caution them on the telephone.
Well, yeah, the president is said, so maybe they're gonna call a telephone and tell Mr. Butas your allegation is made so, and then caution you're not obliged to say over the telephone, because the head of OPR said he did that in the Bascom case. He said that he cautioned the man over the telephone. So if you caution him, maybe arrest him over the telephone as well. So, comrade, we have had a long morning, and as you can see, we were on farm. We have much more to tell you, much more. You know, if you recall following the news, the issue with the judge and the attorney general, yeah, we got to talk about all of that. All of that we can talk about, but time does not permit us to do so today. But so we're gonna come again on Wednesday. Wednesday gonna be the last day of the month. We're gonna come again, God's willing, God's spare life. We're gonna come and we're gonna talk more. We're gonna talk about all them thieves what they got around the place there. And we're not gonna use euphemisms to tell as Dennis Chabral did, a professional and respected journalist. He said, "Oh, he can lie. He didn't say he can lie. He said he can was wrong. It wasn't wrong. He can lie. We're gonna tell you as it is. He can lied when he said that no money was lodged and there was no investigation. So, folks, I again implore you to stay well and stay well. A lot of stuff going on in Guyana, accidents, murders, all sort of things. We haven't touched on the frequent road accidents in recent times. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So we are following this investigation very closely, and we are going to make sure that we point out all of these things and to make sure that any cover-up that they attempt is going to fail. Any cover-up they attempt. They can dance, they can try us out of Salawalo. This is not Dharamlal matter. This is too big. This impacts on an whole organization, the Guyana Police Force. Can you imagine how demoralized those ranks are? They were already demoralized, but every day they're in the news. And people blaming us because we are pointing out the wrong. People say that, oh, we causing the force to be demoralized. Not we. It's them who thieving, causing the force to be demoralized. It's them. We only highlighting this thing, and in many cases, I advising them what is the correct thing. Like the man who arrests the man and tell him he must drive to go to Ranvel police station. It is wrong. So we're going to continue to point that out. So, folks, until Wednesday, God's Spare Life, we're going to meet again for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Until then, stay well. Bye.